Welcome to the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast. My name is Katie Dodd, and I'm a nutrition entrepreneur. I spent 7 years as a side hustler before diving into entrepreneurship full time. Before making the leap, I was bringing in 6 figures through my side hustle. If I can do it, you can too. This podcast is for dietitians, interns, and students who want to be inspired to start or perfect the side hustle of their dreams. Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the 276th episode of the Dietitian Side Hustle podcast, Dietitian Side Hustle Insiders. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast anytime within the last few months or year, you probably have heard about my book that I've been writing, Dietitian Side Hustle. Well, I am so excited that the book launch is happening next week. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about where I'm at with the book, why I made it, and how to become a dietitian side hustle insider. So let me jump the gun by telling you what it means to be a dietitian side hustle insider. So being an insider simply means that you sign up for free on my email list. You put in your name, your email, and you get on my list as an insider. An insider gets the inside scoop of everything related to my book launch. You'll get early access to purchase my book one day before its official release. I am releasing it November 19th, so that means on November 18th, my insiders will get an exclusive email with the link to buy. You're going to get all of the exclusive sneak peek details, kind of behind the scenes of how everything's going with the book via email, and you're going to get front row access to my live book launch on November 19th. November 19th at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I am going to be having a book launch party. So this is simply a Zoom call with all of my Dietitian Side Hustle insiders where I'm going to be doing fun giveaways and we're going to celebrate the launch of this book. So some of the prizes, if you're wondering, because I love to give away prizes, includes our big prize of $100 cash paid via PayPal, a signed copy of my book, 3-month membership, or 3 months access to my membership, and other stuff. I still haven't entirely figured out what I'm going to give away, but there's going to be some fun giveaways. It's just going to be a time to celebrate, and I would love it if you could join me. So if you want to become an insider, go to katiedodd.com. That's probably the easiest way because the button's right there, and katiedodd.com is easier than the direct link, which is dietitiansidehustlebook.com/insiders. So just go to katiedodd.com and become an insider and join me as I launch my book. So I know I shared last week in the podcast, the whole my dog ate my book episode, that I had to push back the launch by 2 weeks. And as much as I was bummed about the pushback, I'm okay with it because I know in the scheme of things, what is 2 weeks? Sooner than later, this book will be out in the world, and I just cannot wait to get it into your hands. Where I'm at now with everything, I have 4 versions of the book. So as of right now, the paperback is good to go. That is what was holding me up. There was an issue with the font, and I've gotten a copy. The issue's resolved. So I'm like, thank goodness the font issue is fixed. I'm like 1 month and 4 proofs later, that is good to go. I just got a copy of the hardback, the hardcover book, and it looks so good. Now, the cost of printing a hardback book is very expensive. So the price of it, if you once you see it, is going to be a little bit more spendy, but that's really just to cover the price of printing. It's like $10 more for printing costs for a hardcover book. But honestly, it's very nice. My Kindle book version is all good to go. And I just today pushed upload on my Audible version of the book. Now, Audible is a whole new world to me. I'm hoping I did everything right. Y'all know me. Done is better than perfect. It's definitely a very authentic recording. If you guys listen to the podcast, you know my style. There's going to be stumbling of words. There's going to be me probably saying the wrong thing. It's not perfect. But for me, I really wanted to record this book myself talking. Part of it was because I do the podcast. So many of you are used to hearing my voice, and I wanted to hear you guys to have the opportunity to hear me read the book. And y'all know my style. It matches my brand. Done is better than perfect. I was talking to my son about it. He was going to help me by reading my about the author section, but he was like, Mom, I tried really hard, but that was hard to try to record. So I ended up telling him, don't worry about it. And I recorded my own about the author, which is a little strange when you're talking about yourself, but that's okay. But it really is hard to record something without without, just all the little mix-ups we have in our voices. And I told my son, I was like, my Audible book is full of imperfections. I stumble my words. It's not perfect. And he's like, well, that doesn't sound professional. And I told him, no, imperfect is my brand. And he just kind of gave me a weird look. And I was like, no, in my world, we embrace done is better than perfect. Because honestly, this book is long, okay? It is the printed version, because I did change fonts. It's a little bit under 400 pages, but still, that's long. And then the audio version, it is 10 hours and 38 minutes of talking. That's a long book. And I will tell you, I feel it. I thought because I do a podcast, recording an Audible will be so easy. But these podcasts are generally short, right? But 10 hours and 38 minutes of content, oh my stars. I actually had to stop recording for a day because my voice was so sore. I've never experienced that. My throat was dry. It almost felt like I was sick. And I'm like, I am going to lose my voice if I don't stop. And then I'm starting to slur my words because in addition to recording, I still have my job. I'm still getting on calls with people. I'm still doing presentations. I'm still talking for an hour at a time, doing my regular thing. So doing Audible was a beast. But my whole point is, had I been so focused on it being perfect, well, it probably would have taken me 50 hours to record. And then it wouldn't have been me. It wouldn't have been authentic. And quite frankly, I mean, there's I don't know if you guys have seen them yet, but there are AI tools out there that will listen to your voice and sound like you. And, you see all this stuff online. No one can tell the difference between Audible you or AI you and real you. But for me, I'm like, people are going to know 1,000% that my Audible is me, and that is not AI. AI could never be as imperfect as I am, and I'm very proud of that. So anyways, I pushed publish on my Audible. It says approval can take up to 10 days, but I will say with most of these processes, they give you more time than it takes. I don't know. My biggest thing is I am so new to Audible. I am figuring out as I go. I mean, I had to sign up for a platform called ACX. That is Audible's platform for uploading your book. I had to learn all about their requirements for audio. And I think I shared this at one point on the podcast, but I know nothing about sound. Again, I'm a podcaster. I know how to do this. No, I don't. I don't know anything. I don't understand the language. I don't understand what it means. And so I actually relied really heavily on ChatGPT. I used a platform called Audacity. It's a free tool for recording sound. And then I could upload my files into the ACX Audible's website, and they'll actually tell you, does this file look good? Yes or no. If it doesn't look good, it'll tell you it's wrong. It means nothing to me, but I would copy and paste that into ChatGPT, and it would tell me what it means. And then I would make the changes in Audible and then test it again. Now, ChatGPT is not perfect. We know this. I've been talking about ChatGPT lately. It's a tool. It's not perfect. And would it have served me to hire someone who knew what they were doing? Probably. I mean, there were times when I would go back and forth 10 times with ChatGPT, and it'd tell me exactly what to do to fix my book, and it wouldn't fix it. Or not book, but chapter, because I was recording one chapter at a time. Except for one of my chapters I broke into 8 parts because it's so ridiculously long. It's on the side hustle opportunities. So anyways, I am over here crossing my fingers that Audible approves my done is better than perfect book. Because by golly, if I have to record this again, or honestly, I might just have to hire it out. Or I was even talking to my son about I might have to find a local recording studio, and I have no idea how much that costs, but I can only imagine. If it took me almost 11 hours to record, and that was straight recording time, you have before, after, pause, edit, all those. I mean, that's probably going to be 20 hours of studio time, and who knows how much that costs. I could only imagine. I feel like in my head, I assume how much things are going to cost, and I think I'm being reasonable, but then it's always like twice as much as what I think because everything's so expensive. So, anyways, I want you guys to go to katiedodd.com, become a Dietitian Side Hustle Insider. And yeah, my book is getting so close to being ready, and I just cannot wait to celebrate with you guys. I also want to talk to you guys a little bit about why I wrote this book. Now, I think like so many of us, I can't tell you how many people I talk to, and we have this dream of writing a book. I've always wanted to write a book. I just feel like I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a pipe dream for many of us, right? Like, oh, I want to write a book. I've got many ideas for books. I've had books that I've wanted to write over the years. I've gone as far as like making outlines for books. I actually I did have an outline for my book, Dietitian Side Hustle. One time I had an intern who made a version of the book, Dietitian Side Hustle. I never published it. She did a great job. It didn't fit the vision for what I wanted because the version that she made, and again, it was lovely, but it was more like something I would use as a freebie to get on my email list. And quite frankly, I didn't want to write a book that was just meant for marketing. I wanted to create a book that you could use, a book that's going to have so much information that's going to be valuable and have stuff you didn't even know you needed in it. And so this is a book that I'm very proud of. I will tell you guys, I'm an open book. I have been hit with a little bit of like mindset stuff of like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of all the things people are going to complain about. And I'm not going to lie, when you think about like, I've been working on this book for over a year. The hours of unpaid work, blood, sweat, tears, and complaining. And like in a heartbeat, someone can turn around and rip it apart and say, oh, that was crap. And so anyways, my brain's going to that, right? Like people are going to hate it. It's a good book. I promise you guys, I wrote you a good book. But I also know that there are going to be people who, haters going to hate, right? And one of my I have two worries with the book. One of my worries is that, okay, this is going to sound very contradictory. I'm worried that it's too much, and I'm also worried that it's not enough. Hear me out. So I'm worried that it's too much because I gave so much information. I even share this in the book. I'm worried that it's going to overwhelm people into inaction. But I mean, I cover a lot of mindset stuff in here, you guys. It's pretty much a personal development book and a business book rolled into one. But then I'm also worried about, are people going to be frustrated that it's not enough? Because y'all know this broad, side hustles are broad, right? Very broad. And I talk about 34 different side hustles. And each of those side hustles could be its own book. So the way I wrote it within the side hustle opportunities chapter, and that's my longest chapter, I do a deep dive into the top 5 side hustles with more details on here's what you need to do. But for everything else, I kind of give an introduction into what the side hustle is. I say what it is, what you need, how to get started, and tips for success. Now, this is going to be the information you need to move forward with the side hustle. But for some of them, it's not going to be every single thing you need because we're all different. We all have different skill sets. I mean, maybe you've never used Canva. If you've used Canva, you're like, oh, it's not that hard. But if you are brand new and you go into Canva, like there's no button that says download. You have to go into like share and click on this button and that button. And it's really not intuitive. Most of us have just used it for so long we know what we're doing. But for someone who's getting started in a side hustle and they go into Canva, holy cow, they're like, I don't even know how to make an image. I don't even know how to download it. I don't even know how to share it. So everyone is different. So for some people, they're going to read, oh, easy peasy, be able to bust this stuff out. But for other people, it's going to show them the path, but they're still going to have to continue to research how to do little bitty things. So again, one of my worries is like, oh, it's not enough. But my hope is all of you listening will get the book and you'll see it's very, very, very good. I know it is. I made this book for you guys because I wanted it to be a real book that you can hold and get information from. Now, I've been doing this podcast for a long time. I mean, gosh, what are we? Episode 276? That's crazy. That's crazy how many episodes I've had. So I think of this podcast. There is so Guys, I got cut off. I could probably go back and stitch that up, but that's okay. We'll just keep going. Um, Funny thing is, recording Audible files, holy cow, the amount of space it's taken up on my computer, I keep having to delete stuff. So I actually got cut off from recording content because there was no more space on my computer to save files. This is how deep I am in creating a book, that there's literally no more space left on my very expensive, nice computer. But here we are. So anyways, my whole point is that I have a lot of free content out there, right? But listening to a podcast cast is different than going to a book. And, there's an index in the back where you can go to the index and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I need. There's worksheets to fill out. It's everything in the same spot. And it's designed to, well, exactly what it says. It's Dietitian Side Hustle, a comprehensive guide for starting a side hustle, making more money, and loving what you do. So it goes over, I'll just kind of go over the outline with you guys if you'd like to hear. And it goes over how I teach everything with my students. I have this kind of framework I use: discover, develop, do it. Even if you've been on my webinars before, you've probably heard, or maybe you didn't hear the exact phrase, but this is how I teach it. I essentially show people what's possible. We talk about developing the skills to do it. And then when we talk about doing it, we're really talking about overcoming the stuff that's going to keep you stuck. Because it's never as simple as just do it, right? I mean, if it was that simple, like think of all the things that we would just do. But it's overcoming, like, what is all that stuff that's going to get in the way? It's a mindset. So in the book, we start with discover, and I kind of introduce people to the book. We dive into mindset. We talk about the path you'll take, whether or not you just want to be a side hustler, or if you want to go full hustler, which is a full-time entrepreneur. And then we talk about all the different types of freedom that come from starting a side hustle. Then in the develop chapter, we dive into all those side hustle opportunities. This goes from page, this is an older version, so the page numbers will be slightly different in the published version. But essentially, it's like, I think it's like 150 pages for one chapter. And it's my opportunities for side hustle. So my opportunities for side hustlers chapter. Then the next chapter is business 101 for side hustles. There's a lot in there. A whole chapter about money, and then getting started. Then under do it, we talk about dreaming bigger, because we all dream too small. We talk about the keys for side hustle success. A whole chapter dedicated to failure, because you will fail and I want you to fail. And then where do you go from here? There is an appendix which has 11 worksheets, and there is a link if you want all of them digitally too. And also I have in my index, I have, what do I have? Recommended websites, podcasts, and resources, podcasts, websites, and books. And books. And then I also ended up adding to the book, because I was like, man, this is so much information. How are people going to find everything in here? In the very back, I have an index. Now, it's not like an alphabetical index. It's broken down by category, but it's a one-pager. It's like 2 columns, so it's kind of a small font, but you can kind of scroll through and be like, okay, what do I want to learn about? So I'll just give some examples of what's in the index. And these are like the headings within the chapters, so that way you can dive to something specific. Maybe you're like, oh, I want to learn about vision boards. I want to dive into limiting beliefs. I want to learn about considerations for employees. Tell me more about financial freedom, time freedom. There's the whole list of the different side hustles. So if you want to go directly to culinary work, webinars, influencer work, direct sales, virtual assistant, you can do that. Side hustles outside of dietetics. Business structure, so how to set up your business, taxes, legal considerations, contracts, niching, branding, artificial intelligence, money mindset, how to make money, how to make more money, how to get paid. Oh my gosh, I almost choked on my own spit. See, I'm talking too much. I really thought this was going to be a short episode, but I'm really excited about this book, if you haven't noticed. Action planning, being laser focused, getting more time, getting more energy, developing better habits, building momentum. So anyways, the whole point is I made this book to be a comprehensive resource of everything that you need to get started with a side hustle. But it's more than getting started. It's about succeeding with a side hustle. And when I say side hustle, I mean another stream of income. This could be your first, your next. It could be just a side hustle. It could be a full hustle, whatever you want it to be. But my whole goal is to set a solid foundation, help you to figure out what you want to do and make sure you're going down the right path, and then making sure that you're continuing to do the work you need to have success. Because there's a lot of things that get in the way. I even put in the book about how, like, all dietitians are amazing. All dietitians are capable. Why then do some have success with entrepreneurship and others don't? That's why I wrote actually a whole chapter on keys to side hustle success, sharing what I've seen as some of the most consistent keys to having success. So again, I wrote this book for you guys. It's a book that I hope that you love. It's a book that I hope that you read, that you share with friends, that you share with students. And my hope is that this book can get into as many hands of dietitians and students as possible. And honestly, I know there's a lot of people out there who listen who aren't dietitians. It doesn't matter what your profession is. This book will benefit any healthcare professional. You just substitute the word dietitian for whatever your credential is. And I'm sure there's little nuances, right? But big picture, this is a book I'm very, very proud of. I spent a lot of time writing it. I should have tracked the time. But honestly, it was hard because, I would be working on this book with my laptop in a massage chair in a trampoline park at night while I was with my daughter and her friends at they call it like the club on Friday, Saturday at the trampoline park. They turn down the lights, they turn on the party lights, and they play music. And so, I would be working on this book at home. I would be working on it when traveling. I'd be working on it in the trampoline park whenever I had time because, clearly I wrote a beast. And I didn't quite realize it till I was recording Audible. So anyways, I am so excited that in just 1 week from today on November 19th, 2025, this book is going to be live and you will be able to get it in your hands in as soon as 2 days because I am self-publishing on Amazon. Kind of as a recap, the book is going to be available in paperback for $24.99, hardback for $34.99, Kindle for $9.99, and Audible for whatever Audible costs. I don't entirely know how that works. I have Audible my too. I just use a credit. So I don't know how that works. But it will be available in all versions. You could buy one, you could buy all. But I sure hope that you are able to grab a copy and read it and let me know your thoughts, your feedback, and honestly, use it to go out there and live your dreams and change the world. So thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. And if you want to learn more about all the ways we could work together and sign up to become an insider, go to katiedodd.com. I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.